Greetings, tournament anglers. Welcome to the 2023 FM Walleyes Unlimited Classic Cup tournament season. My name is Rick Mohan, and I will be your tournament director. And this is the rules meeting for the 2023 Big Pine Summer Shootout. I want to begin by recognizing the 2023 Classic Cup tournament sponsors. So I'm going to pop that up here real quick. So, folks, these are the sponsors for our 2023 Classic Cup season. Many of them you'll recognize from years past, but we certainly want to call out and recognize Shields, Lund Boats, J&K Marine and Vexus, TRS Industries, Kovash Marine, Moorhead Marine, Warrior Boats, Onyx, Eskimo Ice Fishing, Striker Gear, Chuck's Custom Rods, and Vision Bank. So, folks, I encourage you to support these sponsors with your business. As I mentioned, this is the online rules meeting for the Big Pine Summer Shootout that will be held on Sunday, June 18th. At least one team member should view this video by 5 p.m. on Saturday, June 17th. Please note the complete set of tournament rules can be found at fmwalleyes.com. I will not cover all of the rules in this video. So it is incumbent upon the tournament anglers to know the rules. So please go to the website and familiarize yourself with those rules. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to reach out and I can provide clarity. Tournament anglers, we've had a long tradition of remembering and recognizing old friends and tournament competitors who are no longer with us. I'd like to continue with that tradition with a short invocation. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the many blessings that you have provided us. We thank you for your amazing creation and the opportunity to pursue our fishing passions. We also thank you for the opportunity to conduct this 2023 Big Pine Summer Shootout Walleye Tournament. We ask for your continued protection of all of the anglers and event staff. Please keep us safe as we travel and are out on the water. I take this time in a moment of silence to remember our old tournament friends and anglers whom you have called home to be with you. Amen. So, folks, let me just jump right into this then with some general comments, things that really haven't changed, but I want to make sure that they're important so that we cover them. First of all is that Coast Guard approved flotation devices must be worn when the boat is under power, that is on plane. You also to check for AIS when launching and loading your boats. It is entirely possible that you would have interactions with some of the local AIS inspectors. So please cooperate with them. We've always gotten along really well with them. So in addition to our boat inspection team, you may interact with them as well. No alcohol is allowed in your boat during tournament hours. Live and or artificial bait are permitted. Anglers must have a valid Minnesota fishing license. Anglers must follow all Minnesota fishing regulations. There is a 20-yard spacing between competitor boats. So at no time may a competitor come alongside another competitor boat during tournament hours. So guys, we can't be everywhere all at once, and I know there's favorite spots, so please just be respectful of your competitors, and if there is an issue, just respectfully ask them to back off. That's typically the best way to handle it because we're not always where we can facilitate that. So tournament patrol boats, sheriff patrol boats, and DNR boats are permitted to come alongside a competitor boat. Cell phone or radio use among competitors is not permitted. We do allow anglers to bring along their cell phones for emergency use. We do reserve the right to inspect all cell phone call logs of competitors while on the water. Anglers are permitted to call the tournament director with questions or to request assistance. Obviously, if there was an emergency, you would be authorized to call 911 if that was what was needed. No fish are permitted in your live wells or boat. Please inform tournament staff if you see a floater. We will send a boat to recover that fish. You must use a judge ruler, and you must use a camera that accepts an SD card. So I'm going to show you what that is, but that's the standard SD cards. I've had anglers reach out and say they have cameras that take the micro SD cards. We do have a small quantity of those that are available, but it's certainly easier for us if you can use the full SD card. I know that those cameras, the little point and shoot ones, are not typically popular in most electronic stores anymore because everyone has a camera on their phone. But they are available like on Amazon. They're typically inexpensive. So if you're having trouble locating one, just check on online, whatever resource you have or whatever online market you choose to use. So the general schedule is this. So boat inspections will begin at 6 a.m. at both of the ramps. There's the big one on the west side and a smaller one on the east side. The DNR requires live wells to be empty before launching. So when you come there, please don't have your bait in your live well yet. Let our boat inspectors do that, and then perhaps even if the AIS inspectors are there, and then transfer your live bait into your live well. If, for instance, though, you are on the lake, which is fine, that's allowed, you would receive your boat inspection at the Big Pine Lodge dock. Come over there, and that's where you would receive an inspection. So flight time. So all teams will pick up their scorecard and SD cards starting at 6 a.m. at the Big Pine Lodge dock. So depending on the size of the field, we may have 1 or 2 flights. A preliminary roster will be published on Facebook early the week of June 11th. We will inform you of the number of flights with that posting. At Pelican here 2 weeks ago, or week before, just this past week, we did go with 1 flight because of the size of the field, and it being a 1-day tournament. The rationale was we thought people would prefer to be all out there and not have to wait a half an hour, so that was a decision we made, and that was maybe not effectively communicated. I covered the traditional flight times in the rules meeting, but then I published that change on Facebook, and I apologize that some of you maybe didn't see it. Fortunately, I don't think anyone was significantly impacted. So first flight's released at 7 a.m. Second flight boats released at 7:30 if that second flight occurs. The first flight boats return by 3 p.m. and then the second flight, if it happens, would come in at 3:30 p.m. So boats are considered in if they are off plane and with 300 yards view of the Big Pine Lodge dock at the designated time, 3 or 3:30. And we allow that so that if you need to get yourself organized, if you want to review your cards and your photos, you're in. You can take some time to do that if you want to do that. I personally recommend that you would record all of your fish as you catch them. And then, but sometimes people want to double check and make sure that things look good, and that's fine. Boats start and finish the day from the Big Pine Lodge dock. There again will be remote parking from at that Perham Dog Park, baseball park area that we've used the last few years. The awards presentation will be at the Big Pine Lodge approximately 5:30. Parking is tight. Suggest that maybe you would carpool from wherever, a remote site that to your liking, so that there's room for everyone to attend the awards ceremony. And it's at the same location that it was last year. They have actually 2 weekend rental campsites that they allow it, well, that we use. So I want to take a minute now to review the packet and what comes in that. So you're going to get a packet with an envelope like this with a number, your team number, and that's for you guys to help yourself stage yourself when you're getting organized for the release. But within the packet, you're going to find an info sheet with my phone number and some things like that, the times, that type of thing. And then there'll be a Ziploc bag that I really hope you guys will keep and turn everything in the Ziploc bag. It's a lot easier for us to handle that when it's all together like this. But in the Ziploc bag, we have there's a ribbon that you're going to tie around your judge ruler. That's the color of the day. It won't be this color. This actually is a leftover, a packet from Pelican. And then there's a card to record the fish that you've caught. There's also a pen, and then there's the SD card. This is the standard SD card I was referring to. That's the size that we'll be making available to everyone. You know, they've all been formatted. We know they're clean. We give them to everyone right before they take off, and so that's how we know that the photos on that card are legitimately from that morning. So I mentioned also that you guys are required to use a Judge branded ruler. This is mine. It's been around a while and is kind of dirty, but it's a Judge ruler. This one happens to be branded FM Walleyes. Judge sells rulers through other outlets that don't have, you know, our branding on it, and those are perfectly okay to use. It's a Judge brand ruler, so that's good. There's also a newer version that has it's a little longer, 36 inches, and it has the inch marks down the center. And again, that's an authorized ruler. You can use that as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, I guess, how do we do things here. So all fish must measure at least 15 inches. So that means the fish head must contact, you know, the bump angle here on the Judge ruler. And you are allowed to round up to the next quarter-inch mark of the index line the fish touches. So here's an example where if a fish measured it hit the 15-inch line, you'd record that as a 15 and a quarter. If the fish hit a 14 and 3/4 line, you don't record that fish. It has to be 15 inches. So that one wouldn't get recorded. There will be no 15-inch fish submitted, if that makes sense. A fish length is determined by taking a photograph of the fish on the Judge ruler. The fish must be oriented so that the head of the fish appears on the left side of the photograph with the dorsal fin up. And what we're trying to get to, though, is that we want a picture of the left side of the fish. So depending on where you take the picture, just remember we want the left side of the fish. The most common approach is that we're seeing them with the fish head on the left side of the photograph and the dorsal fin is up. And then so the camera operator is typically taking a photo over the shoulder of the person holding the fish on the ruler. If you flip it around, that wouldn't be DQ'd, but the idea is that we only want a picture on the left side of the fish so that we maintain consistency. I also want to point out that fingers placed inside the gills of a fish or the mouth of a fish during the taking of a photograph will result in disqualification of that fish. There was a little confusion from my video for the Pelican rules meeting where we talked about this, and an angler had thought perhaps that you're not allowed to have your hands around the gills anytime during the tournament, and that's not what I meant. It's just about when you take the photograph, because that can create an angle and an extension that would give the fish an appearance of being longer than it really is. So no fingers or in the mouth or the gills when taking a photograph. Please take care in taking your photos. You can take as many photos of the fish as you wish. Please take a hero shot between fish to differentiate the fish that are caught. It makes it easy for us when we're judging them that we've moved on to a new fish. I would also caution you that too much direct sun can wash out photos so that the ruler lines cannot be seen. If we cannot verify lines and things like that, if we can't see it and verify the photo, or we can't verify the length from the photo, that fish is DQ'd. So in that instance, if you had other fish on the card, we won't go back and select one of them. It's incumbent upon you guys to record all of your fish on the card And then it's incumbent upon you guys to identify which fish you want us to record or to score. So if you have a card with a dozen or 15 fish, you have to identify the 6 fish that you want recorded. If you have less than 6 fish, you really should mark them down, but that one's kind of obvious. We've accepted cards like that in the past, but technically you're supposed to record the ones that you want us to score. So, as I mentioned, anglers must record their fish in the card that is provided. And again, mark, identify with an X, and you're supposed to sign the card when you're turning it in as well. The other thing I really want to ask you guys is that if you have what you think might be a big fish contender, please identify the angler that caught it. That makes it a lot easier for us to score that and prepare for the awards ceremony. We've had to reach out and text and try to track down which member of the team caught the fish. And while that's possible, it's a step that, when we're kind of crunched for time, we hope we don't have to make. So please record those who caught those big fish. So at this point, though, I also want to just review some examples of some good photographs. Is that coming back up? It didn't. That's the sponsor slide. Sorry. Let me go back and try this share again. Here we are. Technology is great when it works. So here's an example of a good photo. You can see that the fish, we can see the entire fish in the photo. That's important. We can see that the mouth or the nose of the fish is up against the bump board, and we can clearly see the tail of the fish and where it references the index line on the ruler. So this is an example again of a very good photo. This would be an example of a poor photo, and as you can see over by the right where the tail is, that is all washed out from the sunlight. So we can't make a determination to what the length of the fish is. We can't see the index lines. But again, the orientation is correct in this instance. It's just that we're not capturing the ruler lines. Here's another example of a poor photo. You can't see the head touching the bump board. That's a problem. So again, these things happen, and oftentimes you'll take another photograph. That's correct, and that's fine. This is another example where, we are taking a picture of the left side of the fish, but you can see that the tail is washed out, or the ruler's washed out. And again, we can't make a length determination because we can't reference the index lines. So, and this is what I mentioned earlier when we run across a photo like this, where hands are in the gills or potentially in the mouth. That will result in that fish being disqualified. So again, this one is an example of when fingers are in the mouth. So again, please don't do that. So that is some of the examples of good and poor photos. I'm going to introduce now a short video segment that describes how we conduct a catch photo release tournament. This video was produced by Kyle and Brenton, who at the time were heading up an AYA tournament. So there's a reference to that, but the information is very much the same, and it provides you with some good insights on how to do that. So the only other thing that I would say, guys, is try to take good photos. We struggled a little bit on Pelican where photos were just blurry. So if you're new to using the camera, I really encourage you to try practicing with it. Just take pictures or photos of something on your own SD card and make sure you're able to get focus and to make sure that you're able to provide a clear shot. Because if we can't read an image, or we can't, see everything, and then we can zoom in really, really well if it's a good photograph. And we try hard to, we want to score all the fishes that get submitted. But unfortunately, if it's a bad photo, there's not a whole heck of a lot we can do with it. So please keep that in mind. So with this, I'm going to introduce the short video segment.
Kyle Avery and Brenton Hell here of FM Walleyes. We are your Little Pine and Devil's Lake Angler Young Angler Tournament Directors. We want to talk a little bit today about the catch, record, release format. Brenton, let's just talk a little bit about leading up to the tournament and the day of the tournament, how we are prepared for that.
So what you're going to want to bring with you on the day of the tournament is your red judge ruler. That is the ruler that we do use as the official ruler for our AYA events. Bring your judge ruler. We do have some available for you to borrow or rent during the events, and we have some available for purchase as well. Also, you're going to want to prepare for the event by having a camera that will put the pictures onto a standard size SD card, not a micro card, but we need that a camera that will put the pictures onto a standard card. From there, the morning of the tournament, we're going to deliver a bag to you at the launch, and that bag is going to have your SD card for that day. It's going to have your scorecard and a colored ribbon. Now you're going to need that colored ribbon to be in your picture, which Kyle's going to talk about in a minute, and you're going to use that SD card to record your pictures during that tournament day. And if you do want to do some practicing with our SD cards the night before at the rules meeting, we're going to have those available, Kyle, so that you can bring your cameras out, make sure they work on the cards, and plan and prepare for the next day.
Yep, we want to be prepared the morning of the tournament. Once we get out on the water, hopefully we see our anglers catching a lot of fish, and that's what we want to do. The intention of this tournament and this tournament format is to get the fish landed and in the boat, to get them measured, recorded, and released as quickly as possible. So the process is going to look like this. That walleye will first be taken out of the net and unhooked. We're going to lay that out on the judge ruler. We want a photo of one of the team members holding that fish on the judge ruler. Now it's important that we can see the nose of that fish touching the bump on the bottom end of the ruler, and then also where we can see the tail in terms of getting an accurate measurement and verifying that measurement. You can take as many photos as you would like. Once you get one you're satisfied with, then what we're going to do is we're going to take a hero shot. That indicates to us as tournament directors that we have the end of one fish and we can look for a new fish after that. A hero shot is simply a shot with one of the team members, preferably one who caught the fish, holding that fish. Once we get the hero shot, we immediately release that fish into the water, and hopefully that process is done as quickly as we possibly can. Once the fish is released, then we go into our scorecard, and we're going to write down the score, meaning the length of that fish, remembering that if the length touches a line, let's say it's 16-inch walleye, it touches a 16-inch line, we're going to record 1/4 inch above. So if it touches 16 inches, we're going to record that fish as 16 1/4. And we record it on our card at that point in time, and then we can go resume fishing.
At the end of the day, you're going to have hopefully a full scorecard, Kyle, of all the fish that you had enjoyed catching during the day. We need you to circle the amount of fish that we're weighing for that tournament. We need you to circle the ones you want us to weigh to factor into your weight for the day, and we need you to make sure that the angler's name who caught those fish is next to that measurement, because remember, we do give out a special prize to the largest fish caught by a boy and the largest fish caught by a girl at our tournament. So we want to make sure that we know who to celebrate with those big catches for the day. And of course, if our adult angler catches one of the fish that we're going to weigh for that day, we still want that name on there too, so that we can use it for our results verification.
It's a fun way to do a tournament. It lets us to score all of the big fish we catch during the day, really in avoiding our slot limitations if we were to bring the fish into the boat and bring them up to a scale. It's important to remember, Brenton, one of the things we want to make sure our teams are aware of is that at no time are we allowed to put a walleye into a live well, into our boat. Our live wells need to be clean the entire day while we're out on the water. And as you are demonstrating, all of our participants need to be wearing their life preservers while they're out on the water participating in the AYA tournament. We wish everybody the best of luck. Look forward to seeing you there at the next AYA event.
Well, that's all for now. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. As previously stated, we'll be using the Big Pine Lodge as a tournament headquarters. The event trailer will be there. I would encourage you to support the Big Pine Lodge. They have a great restaurant and bar, and I know many of you will. I look forward to seeing everyone on Sunday. Take care.